It's funny how often I come back to this. Let me read this. Whatever it is you want to see in the world, you must be that. If it's love, you must first be love. If it's kindness, you must be that kindness. All this waiting for the world before you live your deepest longing will never satisfy your soul. And I wrote that this morning because I was contemplating kindness. And, I really think that reintroducing kindness, remembering kindness, contemplating kindness, and practicing kindness is such a doorway that interferes with the momentum of egoic thinking. Because when we consider kindness, not just practice it, but consider it, then we have to consider where our actions in the world, both to ourselves and to the world, where those actions are coming from within ourselves. Because the kind of thing, the sort of kindness that I'm talking about is not just a superficial kindness, although that too can be, have a beautiful quality to it. But actually I'm talking about a genuine kindness of compassionate action without any spiritual isms attached to it. Just the kindness that stems in many ways, in the way that I'm talking about it, from a realization of suffering. And again, not in any particularly kind of spiritual, philosophical way, but just from a deeper and deeper kind of level within oneself, to see the nature of humanity, the nature of our humanity, the nature of all beings. Life is coming and going. Everything is temporary. Everything is impermanent. We rise, we live, we fall. Some in this way, some in that way. Some are blessed with this kind of life. Animals, humans, all creatures. And some are, have to endure very, very difficult lives. Animals, humans, creatures. And the self, the ego self, is only interested in itself ultimately. And so it turns in many ways, certainly just in the way that I'm talking about it, it turns kindness into an acquisition or a bartering. It's like, still ultimately kindness can be for the self. And the way that I'm kind of speaking of it here is to reclaim kindness from selflessness. Kindness from the ocean of love within ourselves. Kindness from the awareness of the totality of existence. A kind of kindness that is a benevolence of grace, that recognizes suffering and recognizes the beauty of existence and how temporary and how fleeting it is. This kind of kindness is an intimacy that allows things to be as they are. It's actually, kindness is healing. Kindness is healing. Not because you're doing anything, but because you're not doing anything in many ways, but because kindness is empathy. Again, empathy is a a word that I'm not particularly fond of because it conjures up, the new age or something. And I'm not really talking about that. And all of these qualities that I'm talking about are good in themselves, in that they're not, inherently destructive or aggressive or hostile or violent or anything like that. So they're all in the good ballpark. But I'm talking about refining and using the contemplation of kindness as a doorway, as an entryway to go in deeply to see why would I not be kind? That's the question. That was what prompted my curiosity again this morning. Is if you were to say, well, I believe that kindness is a beautiful thing to see in the world, and we could all do with more of it, and it might actually join us together a little bit more. It might create some kind of healing where there's division. It might bring us to a kind of union. It's actually, kindness is not so far away in the human condition. Enlightenment might seem far away, but kindness, damn it, it's that close. It's so close. All it requires is a change of being, a change of attitude, a change of shifting from just, self-blindness to something a little more open, a little more equanimous, a little more deep, a little more compassionate in some ways. And so then I asked, well, if I want to see kindness modelled in the world, then surely it's inherent upon me to be the first, in this case, to be the one who practices kindness. And then I asked the question, why would I not do that? What is it? What's the argument against kindness? Because I can't really think of one that's any good. It's weak. Is that an argument against it? I don't think so. Not really. So I don't know. I don't know where realizing that it's like, oh wow, I'm going to bring kindness a bit closer into my life. And let's be clear, when I'm talking about kindness, firstly, I'm talking about kindness to ourselves. Kindness to what arises within us, kindness to the wounds we carry, kindness to the judgment that we fall victim to of ourselves, kindness to the victim sense that we carry of ourselves quite easily, kindness to regret, kindness to sorrow, kindness to our grief, kindness to our agitation, kindness to our suffering, to recognize our suffering. We don't have to indulge it, but to recognize it just as it is. And we get the opportunity to practice kindness to that. And that kindness is the same kindness that we would practice to a small puppy or a wounded creature or, an individual who's hurting. And it's not a collusion. It's not a, it's not even really a consoling. It's just a recognition, a being with. This being with has no person in it, has no sense of self in it. Open recognition of suffering, or an open recognition that is actually in some ways a yes. It is like this. Yes, there is sorrow. Yes, there is grief. Yes, there is pain. Yes, there is all of this. And in some ways, what to do about that. Why always is there a need to do anything about it? Surely the recognition of it as it is allows it to kind of have its life, to be felt, to be expressed, to be seen. You don't have to fix it. Not everything has to be fixed. Kindness is not a fix. It's not a fixing. It's a letting be in the openness that we are. This is to me, when I contemplate this on ever deeper levels, it's extraordinarily beautiful. It's exquisite. The doorway to our tenderness, the doorway to our openness. It sort of brings awareness into human form. Because the more you can root yourself in a deeper awareness that gets softer and softer and softer, the more kindness is just sort of inherent in that. It's sort of implicit in that deeper awareness. And to me, that suggests and feels like when the awareness and consciousness and conscious awareness has actually fallen deeper into the human experience. It's not on the mind level. It's not on the mind level. Mind is going to turn all of these things into attributes or qualities or things we do or things we don't do, or arguments for, arguments against. Has a certain qualitative beauty or benefit, but it's not what I'm talking about. Talking about the fragrance of kindness as an expression of the deepest love that we are, and and that's the doorway that I'm talking about. It's not an arrival place. It's an ongoing meeting of in an intimate way. How beautiful is that? That's what I wanted to say. Let me read it again. Whatever it is you want to see in the world, you must be that. If it's love, you must first be love. If it's kindness, you must be that kindness. All this waiting for the world before you live your deepest longing will never satisfy your soul. Bless you. Thanks for watching.